motes of dust scattered throughout the room as he stepped inside, disturbing your nose and vexing you with a series of harsh sneezes. You questioned if anyone even was here. It was clear that the place had not been used in a while, by the amount of dust settling on the countertop. Tall cells lined with glass panes covered every wall, holding countless labeled bottles of medication and ointments. In the corner of the room, a strung up skeleton nearly caused you to leap out of your shoes. Ramos walked right up to the counter while you found a chair to rest in. After a minute of waiting, it didn't seem like anyone was here. Hey, is anyone home? You waited another minute, hoping for someone would come. Hello? Still, there was no answer. Maybe they are out for lunch, and they leave the sign saying open. Hey! Easy there, you're going to break that thing. If the doctor doesn't come out, I might. A rumbling came from further in like sifting boxes, and a grumble came from behind the door. I'm coming. Give me just a few seconds. A deep but soft voice came from the other room, and accompanied by even more noise. Oh dear. Now I've gotten and done it. What a mess. And I just made that yesterday. We don't have time for this. You're coming out here or not? Ramos. Yes, be right there. An enormous black and white flurry blob began to squeeze its way through the door, but part way through it got stuck. Oh, curses. Why did these doors frames get so small? Whoever or whatever was trying to make its way in sucked in his enormous gut to make room. As soon as he managed his way out, his belly flopped back down, and he panted heavily as he leaned on the counter. Oof. Oh, hello, welcome in. The beastman panted on the counter, clearly tired from the effort of just trying to squeeze his way through the door. What took you so long? You sleeping back there or something? My apologies. I was caught up in my research and I didn't hear you come in. Then what the hell is that doorbell for? Ramos, relax. Sorry about that. Oh no, it's quite alright. I should pay a bit more attention to. Oh, it's you again. Caden, was it? Your eyes went wide again, another stranger who somehow knew who you were, or so you thought. Though you had a better look at him, you started to recognize him as one of the refugees aboard the ship. You couldn't recall his name, but he visited you constantly in your room to treat your wound. He was a beastman that had stitched up your back and saved your life. Before you could greet him back, Ramos was already stretching across the counter towards the beastman. He got a hold of his collar and dragged him forth, smashing the man down onto the counter, while a second fist rose into the air, already to pummel down on the poor man. Alright, you better start explaining yourself. Well, what? How do you know the kid's name? Ramos, hold on. I'm terribly sorry. We were aboard the same ship together. The hell? I don't remember seeing you. I never introduced myself properly. My name is Declan. I was the one to patch him up when he was injured aboard the ship. What? Ramos, let go of him. Despite how weak you were still feeling. You somehow managed to jump from your chair and pull on Ramos's arm, though he didn't budge an inch. He was a doctor who helped me. Doctor. Now that I think about it, you do look a bit familiar. Ramos let go of the beastman who went crashing back into the cells, shaking the room. Thankfully, nothing fell over or broke. Ugh. Oh, sorry about that. My bad. Are you alright? Yes, but a bit of a bump on the head, but I'll be fine. Ramos, what? Say I was sorry, didn't I? That's not the point. Really, we truly are sorry about all this. No, it's quite alright. I'm quite sturdy. You see. Bump into stuff all the time because of my size. The Lord's beastman gave his belly a slap, and a clap of thunder filled the room. Still, he said he was alright already. You're the last person I want to hear that from. No, truly, I'm okay. It's my fault. It's my own fault for being so clumsy. Despite your protest, the big bear appeared to be okay, though Ramos would certainly get a piece of your mind later. Well, anyhow, I have to say it's good to know that you are alright. That was a terrible storm with that monster wreaking havoc. I truly didn't believe any of us were going to make it. I was in doubt myself. It was a miracle that I'm even standing here right now. I suppose I should be counting on a blessing, but it's still difficult to believe. To think that during that night our peaceful voyage will come to an end, and all those people that I had spent hours healing, comforting them that everything would be okay. The bear leaned on the counter and rolled his eyes. So many people must have been swept out at sea. They had so much more to live for, so much they could have achieved. I became a doctor to save lives, yet there was nothing I could do. If only I could have taken all of their places, if only I were the one drifting to the bottom of the sea. How I wish that was true. Tears rolled down the bear's face as he scrunched his eyes closed in grief. You knew that exact feeling he was going through. All hope was lost. Your father's death hurt more than any wound on your back. It left a scar that you would feel forever. So that's it, huh? You just want to die for the sake of others. If I could kill myself right now to bring those poor souls back, I would. Don't even talk like that. You think your life is that meaningless? I'm a doctor. I do what I can to save lives, yet I couldn't do anything for them. I should have been out there on the deck defending the ship, but all I could do was cower in my room. Just as my master said, I have such a long way to go. Cut the bullshit. You're not a goddamn miracle worker. I doubt you can even hold a blade properly. Just what did you expect to do that monster, huh? Even I nearly lost my life to that thing. Probably pissed myself too just trying to stay alive. If you truly have any respect for the lives, you would choose to keep living for their sake. What you did aboard that ship was enough. All those people that you healed was something only you could do. Heck, this kid here would have been dead if what you say is true, if you really healed him. Kept someone I care about sane, probably from jumping ship to assume the same fate. Ramos was all puffed up and heated, his eyes twitching jealously. But I still abandoned him. Who exactly did you abandon? The beach. I woke up. I left. I was so frightened of the ocean that I ran away from those cursed waters as quick as I could. I didn't even bother looking for survivors, for those that would have needed my help. Doubt you were in any condition to help someone out. Ramos pointed to what looked like a fresh scar across Declan's belly. You didn't notice it before, but there were still stitches in it. The bear pulled his shirt down to try to cover it up, but his gut was too big and shirt too small. That's no excuse. Why, suppose you should have just walked along the beach waiting for weeks until even one survivor showed up. Meanwhile, people elsewhere in the world that you could treat are suffering. There's such thing as being considerate, but you're just stupid. Probably would have died yourself waiting. If I could save even one life, then it would be worth it. Well, then it's a good thing you didn't, because we probably wouldn't have found you. What? We need a doctor. Someone to look at the kid's wound. His wound. The kid's got a nasty infection right along his scar. Not something that I can cure, but if you've taken care of him before, then it should be easy for you. But if you have doubts, then we have nothing more to discuss here. We came to see a doctor, not to console you or your demons. I'd rather have someone with a clear mind look at the kid. In your current state, you'll probably make him worse. Let's go, kid. But Ramos, he's a lost cause. Thinking more about his failures than his success. He'll just mope here forever, a failed mortar. Ramos, that's going too far, is it? Doubt he could ever heal someone again. You were about to open your mouth to speak, but the bear steered. That's not true. The bear's paw slammed down onto the counter, causing a small split to appear down the middle. Had he hit it any harder, it might have even cracked in two. It appeared that he wasn't lacking in exercise in the slightest. Either that or it was a really old counter. Don't try to kill yourself. You're clearly not cut out to be a doctor if a few deaths are enough to stop you from trying. I haven't given up. Yet. You sure? Can't have you pushing yourself. I'll show you exactly how sure I am. I'll see him. I'll see to his wound. Sorry, but that's not going to happen. This is the king we're talking about, and I'm not sure I can trust you with that. He is my patient. I'll side to him during his time of need. You will not go out that door until I discover what is wrong. Oh, so you're saying you could actually cure him? I'm perfectly capable of doing that. Come with me. The large bear wiped away his tears. His frown had faded away, and his eyes were ablaze. He turned around and squeezed his way through the door once more and stomped into the other room. A devious grin spread across Ramos' face like he had just done something wicked. What are you waiting for? You heard it, man. So you're not such a bad guy after all. I have no idea what you are applying. Quickly, illness don't just heal themselves. Thank you, Ramos. What are you thanking me for? You really know how to get to people. You saved him just like you did me. Save. I'm just telling him how it is. Still, it helped him. Only doing this so we can get out of this town faster. You really are terrible at concealing your intentions, you know. Just for that, you'll be paying me back for this as well. Yeah, I'll add it to my tab. Declan was already, I don't know if it was Declan or Declan, how do you pronounce it anyway. Declan was already readying the room by the time young Ramos arrived. He rummaged through drawers and cabinets until he found a magnifying glass. Alright, let's have a look, Sally. Please lay down. Oh, but you'll have to take off your shirt so that I can see what's wrong. Carefully, you remove your clothes, then lay face down on the firm bed while the bear examined your back. His paws gently rubbed over you, and he was careful that his claws didn't poke or scratch you as he looked closer at your scar. You tried to ignore the attention you were getting, the bear freely touching you, and Ren was standing at the side of the room just staring. He still had that smarmy smile on his face that you wish you could have knocked off. You felt like you were some kind of circus freak being displayed for all to see. But there's some crusting along here that doesn't look normal. Sticky, yellowish pus. No, this smells sweet. That would be my own ointment, I applied. Some honey and herbs to help bring down some of the pain he was feeling. I see. Well, it doesn't look like your wound has opened up too deeply, but I don't like the look of this. Some kind of infection has seeped in, and it doesn't appear that your body is handling it well. I know that I wasn't able to see to you the last 2 days before the attack on the set, but you weren't in pain during that time, were you? No, just a bit sore. So then, when would you say you first felt this pain and needles infection? Well, when I woke up on the beach 2 days ago, I felt a bit of stinging sensation in my back. It's pretty badly, though it wasn't as bad until yesterday around noon. We found a stream and bathed in it. Once the water had reached my back, it started to burn. That was when I came running over to check it out. I didn't have any of my usual tools and had to make use of what was offered aboard the ship, which was limiting already, though I was thorough in making sure to clean and dress up your injury. The Red Sea is well known for its various illnesses, especially ones as a result of open wounds. Without the proper medication, they likely would have been months that there probably wouldn't. Without the proper medication, there likely wouldn't have been much I could have done about this. My biggest concern is if left for too long, that it may cause some serious nerve damage. So then you're saying you go down hard. Oh, no need to be concerned. I think my master should have left something around here. Give me a second. Declan left the bedside to search the cabinets. After rummaging about and again, almost knocking multiple items over, he came back with 2 jars. Lifted the lid off of one of the jars, he reached in and grabbed out a slimy substance that looked similar to the goop Ramos put on you. You said you used your own mixture. Well, I can tell that it has stalled the infection a bit. Curious as to how you knew to use honey. I'm a jack of all trades kind of guy. Been everywhere, seen everything. Pick up quite a bit of knowledge just traveling. Well, it's a good thing. Your mixture might have been what saved him. Infection's not too deep to deal with. Though if you brought him to me any later, then I might have had to use some more drastic measures. You hear that, kid? I'll save your life. I'll be sure to remember it. Your Majesty, I apologize about this, but I'm going to need you to hold still for a bit. It's going to sting, but it will do the trick. The bear began to rub the mixture onto your scar, and a warmth began to spread through your back. It wasn't soothing at all like what Ramos used, and instead the heat only began to grow until it felt like your back was on fire. You hoped it would just be over after a minute, but the pain persisted and only seemed to escalate. Yeah, what is that stuff? I know it's uncomfortable, but this infection is no joke. Once we have thoroughly cleaned out your wound, hopefully it shouldn't open up again and expose you to other sorts of diseases. You gritted your teeth, gripped the edge of the table until your knuckles turned white. You couldn't even keep your eyes open, and you felt like screaming. Hang in there, kid. You looked up at Ramos and imagined you must have looked like a mess as sweat ran down your face. The bear stopped rubbing in the mixture, and part of the pain subsided. Try to take it easy for a few minutes, okay? I'll check up on you in a bit. The bear looked you in the eye, reassuring you that you would be fine, and left you in the room with Ramos. Still doing okay. Well, it's a bit uncomfortable laying down like this, having you ogle my half-naked body. But other than that, I'm just peachy. Here, didn't think you had it in you to joke around. I think you can clearly see how I'm doing. Ramos helped you sit upright as your arms were beginning to grow numb. Thanks. Well, at least we can tell that it's working. Maybe a little too well. It feels like someone is violently lashing at my back with a steel whip while bees sting me at the same time. And just for extra measure, they are pouring alcohol all over the wound. That sounds pretty painful, but you're going to have to endure it if you want to leave by tomorrow. Worried about the wolf guy? I'm sure I could handle him and a few more of his lackeys. But you're the king. Doubt they would sit still and send in their peons for a mission like this. That, and I don't think I could protect you if they bring in an army. Are you supposed to be my bodyguard? I'm not invincible. Do you know how hard it is to fight for someone you're trying to protect? Dealing with them by myself is no problem. I could probably take on 50 of them before I get down on one knee. But if even one of those wolves get a jump on me and whisk you away, you can bet your ass out that'll be it. You'll be taken back to your lair, and I will have no way of finding you. Then you can kiss your journey with me goodbye. And with that, my pay. And if that happens, and if it happens, it happens. Casilla might be in that village, though. As I said before, you can't so readily trust his words. Besides, if you're truly serious about heading into Farhorn, you're going to need to steel yourself. Any attitude like yours is just begging to be torn apart by hustlers and bandits. It's hard enough on me to keep you safe, and we can't have you being a liability with your wound either. Not with where we're going. Are the waves really that bad? Ramos's ears twitched and a scowl crossed his face, but only for a brief moment. It's not about it being bad, just lawless in a way. A guy will thank you just for looking at him the wrong way, or maybe just because he doesn't like the way you're walking. It can't be like that everywhere. I mean, I can imagine a whole nation of guys like you walking around, but there's got to be some civil folk as well. There might be one or two people who aren't out there trying to take advantage of you or in it entirely for their own interests, but I doubt they last long. I suppose areas where the clans have settled are a bit safer than most. There are some laws that the populace at least tries to uphold. Can you tell me about this place that we are going to then? Across the sandy dunes of the caravan, there lies an oasis surrounded by tall stone walls. It is a fortress, a massive city home to thousands of beastmen and humans, all hardened by the harsh sun. El Sardar. This is where we would get an army. The ruler there is as tough as you can get, willing with blood, steel, and fear. But even then, I can only hope that the city and its ruler will still be there by the time we arrive. Why is that? Do we not know anything about Farhawan? Most are just stories and tales, land of adventure and danger, where one day you could have amassed a fortune and the next you're dying in a ditch. Then you would know why I hope the settlement would still be there. Any slub can gather together an army and become a clan leader. If they are good at conquering, they could end up at war with another clan, even take over. And the next day there could be a coup, or another army could take over. Politics in Farhawan are about as unpredictable as determining the weather. For me, it's where I was raised, but you may get hit with a bit of culture shock. I'll be fine. Easy to say that now. My biggest concern is trying to keep you safe as we journey. As for Blade, I can fight if need be. I certainly hope so. If anything, this journey will change me. I can see it even now. Your heading to Farhawan gives me a different outlook on life and might even make me a better king. Rainbow seemed to smile at that. Better keep that moxie up then. My apologies about the wait. The door to the room opened up and Declan entered and carrying with him a cup of water and bandages. I take it that you are still doing all right, Your Majesty? Oh, yeah, the pain is still there, but not as bad as when you first applied it. Very good. Are you able to lift your arms for a moment? You rose your arms as Declan stepped forth with a long strip of gaze. Carefully, he wrapped it around your torso several times until your wound was fully covered. Now then, you will need to reapply this ointment every 3 or so days until the pain subsides. Change your bandages each time. I still have to take that stuff? Yes, and I won't take no for an answer. Your scar has already healed quite significantly, so right now it's all up to just cleaning it out so that it can continue to heal. It won't hurt as much though from the first application. It won't hurt as much though from when this first application. Your scar has already healed quite significantly, so right now it's all up to cleaning it out so that it can continue to heal. It won't hurt as much though from when this first application. It's been almost a few years since this game has been updated. So if the dev comes back to this game, and there's a lot of spelling and maybe not spelling, but there's a lot of grammar issues that he has to sort out first, because there's been plenty of it since I started Ramos' route, and even before that. So that's if y'all hear me trip over these words, that's the reason why, because it's even because either the grammar is bad or maybe the grammar is good, but it's just not kind of used to that kind of wording. Maybe I'm just not quite used to the wording, so it kind of twists me up. But I think it has to do with the grammar. Declan unscrewed the lid from the second jar and scooped out a white powder to dissolve in the cup of water. It fizzed intensely for a moment before settling into a light bubble. You will also have to drink this. Tastes bad, but they say the more bitter the medicine, the better it is. He handed you the cup and you sniffed it. Didn't smell like anything suspicious, so you took a sip. A rainbow appeared from the spray that sat out of your mouth. You gagged and wanted to whip out your tongue. Holy crap, is that sewer water or something? Nothing of the sort, just very strong herbs. I assume you want to get better as fast as possible. Don't you have anything else to go with this? Just drink the damn stuff so we can be on our way. You stare down at the seemingly innocent cup of water. Shut it down. That's what I do when I take medicine or mixtures of medicine or stuff like that which is not really good, just a bitter taste. Just check it down. You wish this was some sick prank that Ramos had set up for you, and any moment he would say, just kidding, it really is sewer water. Maybe he couldn't be that cool. Just chug it down. That's what I was going to do. If you were to die from this, you just hope it would be painlessly. You tilted your head back and down the hatch it went. If you had a choice between the ointment and this drink, you would have preferred the ointment. The indescribable taste in your mouth was enough to turn even the most dehydrated men to choose death over this torture. Your taste buds were screaming with you, drowning in this abominable sea. You were frightened that you would never be able to taste anything ever again. The last of it was the hardest to swallow and took all of your effort just to keep it down. You should have felt like a winner, like you had just won a tournament at the Coliseum and were about to be crowned. But all you felt was regret at your courageous act and an upset stomach. Ugh. Next time, perhaps we can add a few cups of sugar. Here, this should help a bit. The bear held out a lollipop and you quickly swiped it from him. Even when you popped it in your mouth, the aftertaste of the medicine was still overpowering. It didn't help much, but the very slight spikes of sweetness you got was at least enough to keep your mind off the lingering bitterness and sourness of the medicine. Now, you will have to continue to take this as well as the ointment. Twice a day for a week. Once in the morning and again in the afternoon. I have to continue to take this as well. Quit your complaining. You get so a bit of sympathy for me. Well, you either take it or you can die. This stuff really isn't meant for mortal consumption. I'm sorry, but we need to make sure to flush the rest of the infection from your body, otherwise you won't fully recover. See, you got no choice in the matter. So complaining won't do anything about it. Anyway, how much is all going to cost us? Stuff looks pretty expensive, so I should let you know that at the moment we don't have much money on us. Oh, you don't need to worry about that. I figure as much. Besides, you would never have gotten like this if I had been more careful about your treatment earlier. That's a relief. Are you sure that's really alright? I have a lot of money, maybe not now, but I can pay you back for all that you've done for me. Well, I don't suppose I could turn down an offer from the king. I did happen to lose some of my tools aboard the ship, and they didn't come cheap. I'll be sure to also get you replacements for those, better ones than you had before. Is there anything else that you require? Oh my, no. I think that would be more than enough. I do thank you for your generosity. Gee, I sure do wish you were that terrible with me. You'll get your pay as soon as your work is done. Believe me, I plan to deliver. King's bounty sitting on this, and I don't plan on letting it slide. Is it true that you will be heading into Farwan? Huh? I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard the two of you talking about heading into the waste. Yeah. You're not some kind of spy, are you? Ramos started to lean in, his biceps tensing once more. What? No. No, it's just I don't believe I had ever heard anyone say they were looking forward to traveling to that harrowing place. Especially the king of all people. Well, the kid has already made up his mind. I think he's pretty crazy himself, but he's got guts, and he got mine. He got me. You don't need to worry. I can take care of myself now. I have to. My real concern is over the maladies one can be afflicted by. That country is practically a treasure trove of illnesses and diseases of all kinds. For me to know that one of my patients is heading there so soon after being healed, I can't help but worry. You don't have to. When you become a doctor, the one thing on your mind is on the wellness of your patients, just like you as a king with your citizens. If you do come in contact with something there, well, most doctors haven't made much progress on cures for the variety of afflictions there. If you do come in contact with something there, well, most doctors haven't made much progress on cures for the variety of afflictions here. Regardless of the dangers, I'm still going. Alright, I won't say anymore. Thank you for understanding, but please try to be careful. Drink only water that you have first brought to a boil, and make sure to take that medicine twice a day. I'll be sure he does. And change the bandages every 3 days while we're applying the ointment until your scar fully closes up. Will do. And don't overexert yourself either. You still need to rest where you can to get full recovery. Man, what are you, this kid's mom? He'll be just fine with me. I know Farhan on the back of my hand. What, still not convinced? No, it would be rude of me to ask. Where is it? Well, you see, give me just a second. Declan quickly left the room, and you and Ramos looked at each other questioningly. Once the bear came back, he held out in his hand a well-used book. This used to belong to one of the greatest doctors I ever knew. He might be one of the best doctors in this world. There wasn't an illness he couldn't treat. He really was like a miracle worker. All his patients would leave this clinic the most tip-top shape of health. Why he even knew how to mend broken bones, Glass knew. I trained under him, but no matter how hard I tried, I could never reach his level. He gave me this book to study, and I dedicated my life to learn it. Sadly, there came a time where there was nothing more that he could teach me, and he left the journey of the world, leaving this clinic in my hands. Of course, I could never compete with him, and all his past patients stopped coming by. I just wouldn't live up to his name. I'm sure you saw the sorry state that this place was in. I hadn't been in here in some time, but I think I've learned all I can from this. There's only so much a teacher can teach a student. I think that might have been why he left. Mind wrapping up what you were planning? Mind wrapping up what you wanted to tell us? We're in a bit of a hurry. Ramos, don't be rude. No, he's right. I'm sure you don't want to hear me rambling on like an old bear. I know that I'm already asking you much, but it isn't too much trouble. I was wondering if you could possibly return his book back to him, seeing as though you were headed into the race. I wish I could do it myself, but a journey like that is much too impossible for someone like me. How are you sure this doctor is even in Farhan, huh? Before he left, he told me it was his dream to travel and that he always wanted to visit Farhawan to help those in need. Really now. And just how long ago was this? About 5 years ago. 5 years, do you think he's still over in Farhawan? I just have a feeling. I know it's a long shot, but there might be a chance that you could run into him. Do you even realize how big of a place Farhawan is? How are we even supposed to find him anyway? Well, he's the grizzly bear beastman, so perhaps if you run into any, you could show him this book. Who's to say that man even remembers giving you this old thing? The least we can do is keep an eye out. Can you tell me his name? Unfortunately, I don't think he ever gave me his real name. What were people after his life or what were people after his life or something? Nothing of the sort, or at least I know. His name just didn't seem to fit him. Alright, so then what did he want you to tell him? Alright, so then what did he want you to call him? He went by Talon. Perhaps you could try to ask around for that name and see if something comes up. If he hid his name from you, I doubt it would still be the same now. I don't see how it could be too hard. How many doctors you think there are in the world that fit the description of a grizzly bear? Yeah, my word. I'll do all I can to find this teacher of yours. Only if we have the time. We appreciate your help, but we can't go out of our way on a wild goose chase. Yeah. You elbowed Ramos at his rude comment when you saw Declan's ears begin to stoop. You took the book from the bed and jumped off at the table. I make sure to ask everyone, and me at least. There's bound to be at least one person who has some information. Thank you, truly. Now I'm a bit curious as to why you want to return this book. It's a simple sort of a maturation, really, that I have learned all that I have from him, and that I will strive to better myself without his help. To better yourself, huh? To be honest, I'm not sure if he would even care about something like this. Might just be my own ego speaking here, thinking that he would show an interest in how I'm doing now. He took the time to train you, right? That has to count for something. I suppose it does. Of course, there's still much for me to learn, but it's impossible to know everything. Maybe in the future I will write a book with all that I've learned, so I may pass it down to another. I think you already a great doctor. Well, if we are all done here, that there's time for us to head out. You haven't forgotten, but we only have until tomorrow before that freak and his pack return. We're also going to need to find some horses, seeing how we might not be able to outrun them. Are you in some other kind of trouble? Just some idiots claiming to be the rightful protectors of this kid or something like that. Anyway, we don't have much time to talk about it. Well, I think I may be able to help you then. Near the Grand Cathedral, the one with the bells you hear all through the town, there's a woman in a stall named Renee. She sells her produce as well as livestock around this time before returning home to her ranch on the outskirts of the city. She has a stable filled with the finest horses around, racing horses that even nobles come to buy. Tell her Declan sent you to meet her and mention Talon. Years ago he healed his husband and kids from an epidemic that swept through the city, and she's a good friend of mine. She should be more than willing to give you a good price for some horses, and even sell you some supplies you will need for the journey. Will do. And here, Declan handed out a bag that jingled. Before you had a chance to push it back to him, Ramos already had his hands digging around inside. He pulled out several silver and copper coins and rubbed them together. You'll be needing this more than I do. Declan, you've done plenty enough for us already. Consider payment then for the book. I plan on staying here and reopening this clinic for a little while, so making that money back is no problem at all. Well then, we'll accept it. Still can't make you any promises that we'll find this talent guy, though. Just knowing that you guys try is enough. Alright, Caden. I think we overstayed our welcome. Got a lot to do if we want to get out of here by the night. But we have until tomorrow. Don't go believing every word you hear, kid. I wouldn't doubt that by the time that wolf gets back to his lair, he'll be gathering up his buddies to hunt us. Besides that, best that we get a head start, and we have a long road ahead of us anyway. Farhawan is at least a week's ride away. Man, that far? I suppose this is goodbye then. Declan quickly bowed before you. Yeah, you have lost so much, but even I can tell how strong you are. This nation has a bright future with you leading it. Be sure to come back safely. You too. If that army starts its way here, make sure you get out. So long as there are injured people in need, I will stay. But thank you for your concerning words. Come on, kid. Time's wasting away. Oh, don't forget this. Declan ran towards Ramos with a jar of powdered medicine, the bandages and the ointment in a bag just as he was about to head out the door. Remember he need to take it twice daily. I won't. Got the mind of an elephant. You hurried after Ramos and stopped at the door. Goodbye, Declan. I'll be sure to visit you again once this whole war is over. I'll be praying for your success. After waving goodbye, you stepped out of the shop and back into the city streets. Alright, looks like we finally got you all passed up. And it didn't even cost nothing. Ramos tossed a bag of money into the air and caught it several times. It jingled with the heavy weight of a significant chunk of coin. Still have no problem getting some horses and other supplies with this. Was it really okay for us to take it though? Would you rather we still? No. It's just that I feel bad we couldn't offer anything back. He said he was paying us for returning the book. But even so, you think we won't be able to find this bear doctor? I said all those things like it would be the easiest thing in the world to do, but I just wanted to reassure him. I'm not so sure myself. I don't know anything about the race, let alone even the world around me. Good thing you have the perfect guide then. Anyway, let's see if we can find a bar in this town. What for? I've been craving a drink since yesterday, and after that run-in with the self, the wolf freak, and deal with your sickness, I think I deserve one. Whatever happened to getting out of here in time? Stopping for 1 or 2 or 3 drinks isn't out of the question. We shouldn't be using this money for that. Besides, we need to see Renee while she still has her stall set up. Ramos, damn kid, can't even catch one break. I'm the one just about on my last leg here. I would like nothing more than to head back to the inn and was preparing for the journey tomorrow takes precedence. You can get your drink when we are finished with that. Now Declan said she was by the Grand Cathedral. I think its bells came from the center of the town. Shouldn't be hard at all to find. You headed right back into the heart of the town. The crowds were still gathered together like schools of fists as you clung to Ramos to make your way through. Alright, so we got to get the treatment Caden needs, and this bear doctor who looks more like a panda. But anyway, this bear doctor gave Caden the medicine he needed, and he has to take that medicine multiple times each day. Yeah, Caden didn't like it. He didn't want to use the medicine, but he had no choice. I mean, it's not good, but it's something you need. So this doctor was friendly, and he looks up to this doctor who's a grizzly bear who taught him everything he knew, and he has high respect for this doctor. So he wants Caden and Ramos to find his old doctor, his mentor, and fire one so they can return this book that his doctor gave him. So apparently he thinks he doesn't need it no more, and he wants to sharpen his skills and try to learn on his own instead of using his mentor's book. So Caden was very grateful to the doctor, and he even gave him advice on what to do in case the assassins came to this city that he was in. Tell him to just flee and protect himself and just avoid the assassins. Though Declan said that he would stay and treat those in need instead. And Ramos being the rude guy as usual, but he told Caden about the importance of drinking of using the medicine. Hey, you need this medicine so you can get better. So so we got to meet the doctor, and in the next video we'll meet Renee, this person who sells horses. She owns a ranch on the outskirts of town. She has a ranch of horses, so they're gonna need horses, so they can, so the trip to Farhawan could be a little faster. Plus, they're gonna need it so they can avoid that wolf in the reinforcements he may have, because that wolf did tell them that he'll let them go for today, but he was going to go back to his elder and tell him that he found them, and that if his elder decides to hunt for them, then they're gonna hunt for him, and once they catch Caden, they're gonna force him back they're gonna force him to the the little tribe or town they're at, whether Caden wants to or not. So they need horses to avoid them and to make the trip to Farhawan a little quicker. So that's what they'll be going to this Renee person for the horses. Alright, so I decided to right before I saved this part, I decided to fast forward the VN, the VN, to see how much time there's left, and I'm confident now that there's just one more video to do, and then we'll be up to date with Ramos' route. Now, there is more to Ramos' route on Patreon, and I already watched what was on Patreon, so there's plenty more through Patreon. But as far as the public version of this, there's just one more video to go. So So we'll meet Renee in the next video, and then we'll probably be done with Ramos for a little while. I may or may not decide to start Conceal's route. I might decide to start his route, or I may decide to start another VN and come back to Conceal's route later this year. But I gotta think about it. So don't bet on Conceal come up next. Don't bet on that. I'm kind of just thinking about whether to start with him or do something else for in the meantime. Alright, so thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.